All right, welcome back. Part 2, Halloween Not So Scary Wall Hanging. It's pretty much marked Halloween 2024, but it is the Not So Scary Wall Hanging. There's only about 4 parts to this. We are up to part 2, which, as you can see behind me, is the candy corn. We did the pumpkins last week. We're going to do the candy corns this week. And there will be a skip. I was going to try and do a watch, a Facebook watch for the next one, but I really think I should wait and we should all do it together as opposed to just doing what they call a watch party. One, I don't really have enough time between now and when I leave for my son's wedding to be able to get a whole nother video done, edited and out. So you'll just have to wait for me to come back, and we'll get together the very next Sunday. So not this next coming Sunday, I'll be out of town, but the next Sunday. We'll get together for part 3, but I will make sure I get the information that you need for the cutting instructions, which there's not a lot of cutting instructions to it, but there are some things you're going to need to pull together, and we're going to talk about that hopefully at the end. So make sure you stick around, okay? Sheila says, make sure you send me the pattern so I can read it before publishing. You should have seen the look on her face when I told her, oh, by the way, here's the pattern, the first one. The digital pattern. Here's the first one, but I've already put it on Etsy. And she's like, what? Yeah, as soon as she got a hold of it, she sent me back about 3 pages of changes, or 3 different kinds of changes that needed to be made. Yeah, she was not very happy with me. Anyways, that being said, we are on, so let me make sure I get us going here. Now, as far as I know, all the cameras are working. I hope. I hope. Make sure I'm on here. Nope, that says that one, so let's get over here. Okay. All right, so in your emails or the patterns that you pulled out, you're going to get one each of these. These are kind of important because you're going to need these for this. There's plenty of sewing. Now, if you wanted to piece it, this is an accurate pattern. You could do foundation piecing, just print out 5 of these and use this as your guide. But to me, the easiest way was this. Let's get down here to the table. Is it hopefully still working? Okay, it is. All right. See, I even made sure I have my little creaser, my wood iron. And we have our 3 colored pieces. Well, sort of colored. One is a tone, not necessarily a color, but we do have our orange, our yellow, and then we have the 2 backing, the side pieces, which actually go this way. The 2 side pieces, which is actually normally it would be just a rectangle, but I think I'd already cut them out when I realized that I should have probably left them. Actually, I think I have more than 2 sets. I think I have 2 sets there. Okay. Okay, so let's work on this one first. So we're going to put this aside. We're going to take these. Now here's what you need to do. I need to put my glasses on so I can see what I've got here. Sheila says, still love you. Yeah, she's my rock. She gets me through some of these silly things I do. By telling me, you know, that probably wasn't such a smart idea. Anyway, so we're going to, I'm going to move this out of the way. It's not a very good one to crease on. So what I want you to do is I want you to take each piece and basically just run just a light crease down the center of each one. Like that. And then I don't think either side has a good or bad side, but I'm going to go ahead and use this one just because my instincts tell me that that yellow one has a better piece there than it did on the other side, a better color tone. All right, so the first one we're going to do, we're going to fold it over and match up that edge so that it kind of matches in the middle, meets up in the middle. I'm going to put a quick pin in it just so it doesn't slide on me. I'm going to bring this over here. Oh, and see, and I still have my little friend over here. All right, let's come over to the, yep, okay, it's working. Just making sure. And then we're going to stitch that pinned side together. That's what my granddaughter would say. Well, let's do it together. It's funny, I just turned and changed my thread back to black. And then we're going to flip this over. Make sure my iron's on. And pin. Kind of makes a bit of a dark line at that edge. That's kind of interesting. Sometimes it'll hide it well, sometimes it won't. Then we're just going to match up this one right here. And you can kind of see as it follows down here as well. Flip it over and then stitch it down. Here, let's, there. Now it's not so bright. Let's see. Nah, no matter what I do, it's still kind of dark. Okay. Just snip it off that little bit extra there. And then I'm gonna, now we're using that 1/4 inch seam, just like we always do when it comes to quilting, making our and doing our piecing, but you wanna make sure you have a good 1/4 inch seam. If you take up too much, then your paper piece is not going to fit in between here and here. So you wanna make sure you're using a really good 1/4 inch, okay? All right, now let's go over and iron it, and we're going to come back to the table. So let me go ahead and get my tabletop back up. Can everybody hear me okay? I just want to make sure that there are no issues with my microphone. Okay. Did a little bit of ironing off to the side there. Now we have what looks like a birthday cake, or depending upon your view, a wedding cake. And you're going to use your template, and you're going to just try and line up these lines across here and here, and don't worry about what's at the top or the bottom. We're going to take that off. Now you have two options here. Let's see. And I don't see. I tend to walk off with a lot of my pens, my friction pens. You can either do it with a, hang on, gotta reach here. There we go. You can do it with your cutter, with your rotary cutter, which is the way I did it with the ones that are on the wall. Shouldn't roll back and forth. And then there's a little spot down here you can trim off. All right. Or you can take your friction pen or some other marking instrument, because this is going to be out on the outer edge anyways, and just mark it. It's okay if it's sloppy. I've got my hand on the paper pattern to make sure it doesn't slide around. Guess it's time to change that around. Okay, looks good. Keeping my hand on the paper pattern, making sure it's coming to the edge. When I did mine, I actually had my little Susan Daly rotating mat, and that was actually very, very helpful. I just didn't bring it over here for this one. All right, now, or if you're using it where you just drew the line, then you just want to get that right up to the line. And remember, there's a little bit of, allow a little bit of distance between that line and your ruler, just because there's some fatness to your pattern. So every time you mark out here, you're actually bringing that line a little further out. And so if you just cut just on the inside of that line, then you should be right where you need to be. All right, and there we have that. This is number 1. Now the next thing you're going to do is you're going to take your 2, I believe these are 3 3/4. I don't have the paper in front of me. Can anybody tell me? You're coming in loud and clear. Excellent. Thank you, Miss Sheila. So I believe it is 3 3. Yeah, 3 3/4. It's actually 3 5/8, but that's okay. And then you're going to take your pattern. Now this is normally a rectangle. You're going to take your pattern and you're going to lay it down here. And you can either take your chalk and mark it. And if you put your pieces back to back or front to front, so wrong sides to wrong sides or right sides to right sides, you only need to cut once. Because either way you do it, when you pull it out, you should be going in the right direction. Put your pattern down and cut it off. And you should be just the right size here. This should be 6.5 inches. Yes, it is 6.5 inches. Okay, and that should give you 2 of these. So if you put them wrong side to wrong side and you flip them open, you have 2 going in the proper directions. Does that make sense, I hope? All right, first one we're going to do, we're going to put it right here. Now this is where you're going to have to use a little bit of I want to say brain power, because this is a pretty simple pattern, but there is a part where you have to think a little bit harder. Okay, so let me grab this, just because this might help, it might not, who knows. All right, so this is a 1/4 inch. I don't know if you can see it very well. It's a 1/4 inch. It gives you 4 different sizes. That's inch, 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch, and 1/8. You can use this and see if it comes from the edge to the edge of where you're going to start sewing. So if you were to come in 1/4 inch, this is where you would start sewing. Here, let me. So this is where you would begin sewing. So you want to make sure that you have pulled the fabric point up far enough that when you start, you're creating a V right here with your fabric to the top of the piece, right here. And then if you cut off that little notch down there here at the end, here, let's see, do I have my remote up here? I don't see it. Yeah, I'm not sure what happened to it. It's around here somewhere, just not right here. Otherwise, I'd love to get a little bit closer. Oh, doesn't matter. This one doesn't do that. Okay, never mind. I just solved my own problem. All right, and then if you come down here and look, that's going to be 1/4 inch right there as well. So it's going to end here and it's going to start there. End here, start there, and you're going to follow 1/4 inch all the way down. Does everybody understand that? Well, hey, Miss Margaret, how are you? Does that make sense? So this is kind of following along with that 1/2 square rectangle only your bottom one is not, in essence, an actual rectangle. Okay, so let's take it over here. Get us on the right screen. I'd like to move the camera so that it's got the foot more in the center, but I know if I move the camera, it'll freeze. So we'll have to, I'll try to be more careful next time. Okay. Got that part stitched down. Let's get this. And then this. How many knows we have blocks that, well, come on now. There it goes. Okay. Blocks we don't like to do. Like we don't like to do curved seams, or we don't. How about those half square rectangles? There's all kind of blocks we don't enjoy doing. Okay, for that part that I missed, there's the top. There's that point right there. There's the bottom. That's a quarter of an inch. There's a quarter of an inch. There's that edge. And then down here at this end, quarter of an inch. Maybe just slightly off, but it looks good. We're going to flip it over. And it should follow a straight line straight across here and here. It shouldn't be off this way or that way, because the pattern is designed so that you shouldn't have to trim this up. And if you do, it's very, very little. Okay, so there's that side. Let's go ahead and give that a quick iron. Working on Christmas gifts. I should have been working on that months ago. I feel like it's the one area that I never seem to get caught up on, is working on Christmas gifts. I have plenty of them to do, but darn me, I just never quite get it going. Not early anyways. All right, again, we're going to kind of line this up. Now, I did not cut off my bottom down here, but if I did, I would just need to get it lined up here along this edge. Okay. And the fat part goes at the top. Skinny part goes at the bottom. And again, we're going to kind of check it just to make sure that we've got that quarter of an inch. I think I got this from Sew Steady. When there was basically a online Sew Steady party. And there's our little valley right there. And right there is the very edge of that one. And that's what we're aiming for. Creating a valley at the top. And if we didn't trim off the bottom, we would have a valley down there as well. A valley between the mountains. Okay. Now let's take it over here to the throat plate. I can hear May in there giggling. Nicole must be playing with her. It's good to hear giggling in a house. I don't remember a whole lot of giggling in my house when I was growing up. Okay, back to the tabletop. And again, we're going to flip it out and see. Oh, look what I did. I must have picked up the two that were together. Okay, no wonder it felt weird. All right. see. All right, well, it's got to be in here. Yeah, there they are. I buy these from the Dollar Tree. This one I think I actually got from Goodwill, and they sell them for like $4 or $5 at Goodwill, but I can get them at the Dollar Tree for $1.25. At least right now I can still get them for $1.25. These are those eyebrow razors, and I know some of you do not like these, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that, but I love these things. Just gently find the top and break it, and when these are fresh, you should be able to get through this very quickly. Just kind of angle it up just a little bit and cut right along that edge. Look at that. And then if you have a lint roller, and this one I think is about used up. If you have a lint roller, you can just roll off all the extra linty pieces. Even pick that up. Flip it over. There we go. All right, now we're ready to fix it. Oh, king size. Ugh. You know, I'll be honest, it's mostly what I aim for is king size, because that's what I have for my bed, is a king size. And I would love to have a different quilt for every month. Oop, not that one. There we go. I would love to have a different quilt for every single month. You know, each month put on a new quilt top. Right now I probably have about 3 that I've made that I put on my bed. But I also have plenty I have to make for my kids. I promised them quilts, and I still have 2 more kids to work on. Nicole got hers, now it's Taylor's turn, and then my son. All right, now let's see how I did. Did I do better this time? There we go, 1 piece, not 2. That was funny. Haha, I can't believe I did that. All right, and then here's my little iron, my wood iron. I absolutely love my wood iron. Everybody knows I love my wood iron. Mr. Craig made that for the guild for one of their retreats, and we did it again for the next retreat. And now I sell them on my Etsy site because I just love mine so much. And there's lots of wood irons out there. I'm not sure what it is about this one that I love so much. All I know is it makes a nice, clean, crisp edge, and I don't have to run to the iron all the time. Okay, looking good. All right, our very next step is we're going to take the 2 1.5 inches by the width of the block, and we're going to kind of line it up there. It's going to hide all of our nice little mistakes, if you made any. But you guys are much better than I am at this. And we're going to pin this down. Here and there. And you can even pin the other one. It's so hard to see this black. This black just absorbs all the light. I'm going to give it a couple pins here too. Now, one of the blocks I originally looked at putting in here were like witches' shoes, but I'll be honest, I really didn't like the look of it. It just didn't. I don't know. It wasn't a fun Halloween quilt. That just kind of made it kind of spooky-ish. I don't know. I don't know if I can explain why I didn't like the idea of putting witch's shoes in there. Okay, so there's one side. We're going to snip all the threads off. And now we're going to go ahead and do the other side. And I'm just going to check and make sure it's still lining up. And if you noticed, I don't do any back and forth on those. Especially because if you do a back stitch and you try to use those eyebrow razors, it definitely makes it much harder. And you don't really need to do that because you're going to sew these seams into the next one, which is going to prevent them from unraveling anyways. Okay. Okay, let's try it again. So we folded this one out and used the Kreg iron, the wood iron, and then we folded this one out and we did use the iron on that one. Use my 8x8 wool mat right there. We're just going to give it a quick press on both ends. All right, now all you need are 4 more of these, and this week's work is done. All right, y'all, what do you think? Here it is. Our lovely candy corn. It's going to go up here next to the other ones. So now you need 5 pumpkins, 5 candy corns, and you had 2 templates. Now next week, well, next time when we get together, which will be, again, it's going to be 2 Sundays from now, okay? 2 Sundays. But here's what you're going to need. You're going to need and you'll get this in your fabric requirements, so I'm trying to remember everything. The double fold bias tape, you need it in a 55-yard roll. You actually use quite a bit of this. We're going to be making 15 of the next block. So I would say pace yourself. Do 3 a day. Do 2 a day. They're not hard, but just by the fact that it has a double fold bias tape in it, yeah. It's fun, and repetition helps you to learn and grow and explore new avenues of quilting. So don't be afraid. Okay, so a 55-yard roll. The only reason I say 55, you could probably get away with 44, but they don't actually make it in 44. You can make your own double fold bias tape by using one of those little metal foldy things. I think I have a set in here. Oh, I can't find them. Oh, there they are, right there. I don't know if you've ever picked up a set of these. I have used these, but I actually use the Jelly Roll one more than anything because the Jelly Roll is a 2.5 inch biased fold thingy bob. At this point, I can't remember what the heck the name of it is. So I use that one actually more often than I use this one. Anyways, you could make your own, but I'll be honest, it cost me about $15 for this whole thing. And the aggravation of trying to make 55 or 44 yards of this, to me, is not worth it. So here's my recommendation. I'm using a black background. You know that by what I've got up here. I want it to be a high contrast, so I'm using white. Okay, and I'm going to use a white thread on top of this, not the black, when I do stitch this down. If you're using white, you can use black, or if they have a darker gray, or maybe even a cream. Cream is not real contrasting with white, so I recommend that you use a good contrast. If you don't really want it to contrast as much, then you just find something that will stand out but not be wham in your face kind of color, okay? So that's that. The other thing that I want you to make sure you have handy is some kind of marking pen. This is a Fons and Porter, but I know that, what's one of these other companies? Soline, I think Soline makes a pen. This is actually glue, but Soline I think makes a pen. There are other pens. There's pencils. Again, I have issue with some of the pencils. It's like the lead is not soft enough and doesn't leave well enough mark on the fabric. So get yourself that. The other thing you're going to need is either some cardstock or cereal boxes. I used, this is a Mylar template, so I can make, this is for heat, so I can iron with it for a small period of time, and it doesn't warp or bend, but it's also great for, drawing out some of your templates that you need to last a little longer than a piece of paper. So either get cardstock or cereal boxes, or the clear template, or this Mylar template material, because we're going to have some things you're going to need to trace out. And again, that should be in the email that I'm going to send out to you. If you're on my email list, you're going to get this stuff for free. If you're not on my email list, if you're in the YouTube, then when you purchase the pattern, it will come with the fabric requirements in it, and it'll have all this in there, hopefully, and all the templates that you'll need. And it's not that there's a lot of templates, but there's a couple. Okay, there's about 3 or 4. The other thing you're going to need is, in working with this, I tried it once without using a backing. I tried it again with using a light backing. I tried it again with, this is Peltex. This worked out really well, but I didn't like how stiff it was. It's almost too stiff. What I found was the cutaway stabilizer that you would normally use for your embroidery machine actually works very, very well. It keeps the fabric stiff, or stiff enough so that when you're working it doesn't want to pull or pucker or whatever. So I recommend getting enough to do 15 of these 8.5 by 8.5, and even if it goes outside of the 8.5 mark, that's fine. I mean, you can trim it off, but get the cutaway, not the tearaway, because you want this to last through the whole sewing and stitching of the block. So get the cutaway, that's better. All right, so that's basically what we need, that I can think of that we need for the next Sunday that we're going to meet. Let me just take a quick look in my book here just to make sure I didn't forget something. Marking pen, cereal box, double fold bias tape, printouts. Yep, just make sure you print out everything. I will try to include on the paper what you need for, what needs to be marked, what needs to be drawn out, so you know exactly what you can do ahead of time, okay? All right, I can't wait. This, it's really starting to come together. 1/2 inch correct? No, 1/2 inch, not correct. Correct? Are we talking about the biased tape? The biased tape is a 1/4 inch. 1/4 inch. Did I say 1/2 inch? Oh my gosh. Y'all keep on me. Excuse me. Sorry about that. It is 1/4 inch double fold bias tape. Quarter inch double fold bias tape. And this one is white. What color marking? The marking pen, just get a color that works with your fabric. Whatever, no problem. It was probably me. I probably said 1/2 inch, because sometimes I do that. I'll probably re-edit this and find out that I did say 1/2 inch. No, 1/4 inch. Me. 1/4 inch double fold bias tape. Get a color that goes along with your, that contrasts with your backing, your background color. The color of the marking pen, it needs to be something that you can see. So I'm working with black. White seemed to work the best, and I had it. It was something I had. And when I'm done stitching, generally I'm stitching over the top of it anyways, so it's not really showing up. So it worked out really, really well. Do you have any other questions? Oh, thank you, Miss Diane. I like it too. You know, this was, I'll be honest, I kind of threw this together because I wanted something fun to do for Halloween that wasn't really kind of gory Halloween. And I've done some really cute Halloween stuff that was a little bit on the gory side, but I wanted something fun. And this is just simple and it's not going to drive you crazy. Now, the next one, it's going to be a little bit of a challenge, but I hope you'll take up the challenge because it's going to be great. The first one I did, I was ready to throw it against the wall, but by the time I started the second one, especially once I started using some stabilizer on it, I was like, oh, this is getting easier. And by the time I did the third one, I was like, okay, they'll get this. These guys are great. This is definitely something they can pick up and pick it up fast. So don't worry, it's going to be fun, but I'm not going to tell you it's not a bit of a challenge. So, but then the last one, back to easy breezy, and you only have 5 of them. So, and what I want to do by putting these 15 together, it's also going to help us start to assemble the quilt so that by the time we get to the 4th one, easy breezy, you'll be ready to basically put the whole thing together. We're going to put a little itty bitty border around it, and then put some batting, backing, and quilt away on it. All right. Again, any questions that I can answer for you today? How are we doing? Oh, we're about just about right. 4:39. So we're just about finished. I'm just hoping I covered everything that I need to cover. Remember, we will not have a video alive next Sunday, but we will start back on the next Sunday. I kind of wished that maybe we had done the 15. That would give you the chance to do them throughout the 2 weeks I was gone, but it just didn't work out that way. I didn't want to throw you right into a block 2 being a little more challenging because I was afraid nobody would want to do it. Where do you get Mylar? The Mylar, that white stuff, I picked mine up at Joann's. Sometimes they have it, sometimes they don't. If they have the clear template material, it's kind of I say clear, it's slightly opaque, slightly transparent, slightly opaque. That will work just as well. It will. It's just what I had here on hand. It was actually for another project we were working on, and I wound up not needing it. So I just had some extra on hand. But like I said, cardstock, cereal boxes, anything that has a little bit of stability that you can draw out a template on, that will work for all of it. Any other questions? I am open to questions. Gosh, I'm so excited. This is going to be so adorable. It's a little bigger than I thought it was. It's actually going to be 5 wide by 6 long, which actually puts it finished at 42 by 60. So, I mean, you could use it as a throw, but it's actually intended as a wall hanging. But it's adorable. It is adorable. And I got pictures to prove it. All right. Well, you know that if you have any questions, you know how to get a hold of me. Even if you are YouTube, please remember to like and subscribe on this channel or this Facebook page. Share it, send it out there. I would love to see other people doing the same thing. Dollar Tree cutting boards should work. Yes, yeah. They're regular, you say cutting boards, but they're actually like cutting mats. Work well for this because you can cut them up. Just make sure you don't use your fabric scissors, which I know most of you, that's a given. I don't usually have to even say that, but you don't want to use your fabric scissors to cut this. Find a pair of utility scissors or kids scissors or something other than your good fabric scissors. I know I used to always have one pair of utility scissors in my sewing room because I used to clip a lot of wire, so it was important to keep a pair hanging around. And yes, you can get a lot of stuff from Dollar Tree that we could definitely use. So, but just remember to, if you have any questions, you know, there's plenty of ways to get a hold of me. Direct message me. That's what DM means, by the way, in case anybody's wondering. It took me a long time to figure that out. Direct message me. Email srqquilters at srqquilter@gmail.com. You can email me there. And for those of you that have the business phone number, you know, you're welcome to call me or text me. That is a textable phone number. And I am always happy to answer. Now, don't forget, if it's not an emergency, I may not see it right away. Okay, so just text it and I will get the answers back to you just as quick as I see your text message. I'm not sure what's going on with my phone. Occasionally it doesn't send me my messages or let me know there's a message there. Thank you so much for sticking with me today. It was fun. It was quick. It was easy. I can't wait for the next one because that'll be more entertaining. Get to see how that works. All right, y'all, it's almost time for prayer time. I know last time we prayed for Miss Jerry, but if anybody has any special requests, I'm always willing to take a special request. I know we have some of our guild members and people that are close to us who are not doing well, who are not feeling well, and I definitely want to send out my loves and hugs to them and any prayers that they may need. But right now, let's just go ahead and get right on into prayer time. Father, thank you so much. It was a wonderful day. You gave us another opportunity to open our eyes, put our feet on the floor, and go and be a light to your world, Father. I just thank you for your graciousness, your love, for all the things that you've put in our paths that sometimes seem to us like a barrier. And what it is, Father, is you just need us to go a different way. Father, and we just thank you for all the opportunities, the open windows that you give us. And I pray that we share that with other people and share your love and your mercy with others, even if it's just in a smile, a hello, a goodbye, or even just a warm hug. We just thank you. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Y'all have a fantastic Sunday. I hope you enjoy your time with your children, with your family. Just get out there, have some wonderful dinner, because I know it's about dinner time. And I will see you on the next one.